Hey guys, today I want to speak directly to the women who are postmenopausal. Have you ever been told that once menopause is over, that things get better? And then you look at your life and how you're feeling, and you're still exhausted, you're still foggy, you're still carrying weight you can't explain, still waking up at 3 in the morning and thinking, better than what exactly? Because for a lot of postmenopausal women, the transition is technically over, but our bodies never got that memo. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Cathy Bracken, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time out to drop by and hang out with me for a bit. Don't forget to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up. Your support this way allows me to continue creating my unique brand of self-improvement content aimed at educating, empowering, and inspiring positive transformation in you, the viewer. Now today, I want to remind my postmenopausal ladies that we are the big sisters of the menopause transition. However battle-tested, we postmenopausal women are significantly underserved when it comes to education, treatment, and support. That changes today. And before we go any further, let me state for the record that I am not a doctor. I am also not here to replace your doctor. I'm here to help you understand what's happening in your body, ask the right questions, and know what your options are. So let's start with a proper definition because it matters. You are officially postmenopausal when you have gone 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period. That is the clinical benchmark. And once you reach that point, you officially enter the exciting and final stage of menopause. It's not a phase you pass through. It's the final and most glorious destination. Postmenopause is the permanent hormonal state for the rest of our lives. And I kind of like it here. Now, here is the part that catches a lot of women off guard. The transition is over, but the hormonal reality that created all of those symptoms doesn't disappear. The estrogen levels that drop during the transition stay low permanently if HRT therapy isn't employed. And that low estrogen environment has consequences that extend far beyond hot flashes and sleep disruption. I'm going to walk you through 5 key areas every postmenopausal woman needs to know and understand. The first area is this. Postmenopause does not mean symptom-free. This is the most significant misconception I encounter. Women are told sometimes explicitly, other times implicitly, that once the transition is over, the hard part is done. And that simply is not true. For some women, symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats do improve over time, but for a significant number of postmenopausal women, certain symptoms persist for years or even decades. And those perimenopausal and menopausal symptoms that were manageable during the transition become more pronounced in postmenopause because the body has now fully adapted to low estrogen levels. The symptoms most commonly reported in postmenopause include joint pain and stiffness, often described as waking up feeling decades older than you actually are, vaginal dryness, and urogenital changes, which affect intimacy, comfort, and urinary health. The next is sleep disruption, and not just hot flashes, but a fundamental shift in sleep quality. The fourth is mood changes, and this looks like anxiety, low-grade depression, and emotional flatness. And finally, cognitive changes, which we'll cover in depth in the next video in this series. Now, the important thing to understand is that these are not simply signs of aging. These are signs of estrogen deficiency, and that distinction matters enormously when it comes to your options. The second area is the long-term health risk associated with this phase. When estrogen levels drop permanently in postmenopause, the body loses the protective benefit estrogen has provided since puberty. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone, it's a protective hormone. It plays a crucial role in cardiovascular health, bone density, metabolic function, and cognitive protection. So the risks that increase in postmenopause are significant. Now, none of this is meant to scare you. It is meant to inform you because an informed woman is an empowered woman. And every one of these risks has strategies like lifestyles, medical and hormonal, that can significantly reduce their impact on our health and quality of life. Now, before we get into the HRT treatments and the metabolic health part, I want to pause here. If this is the first time you're hearing some of this, take a deep breath because you're in a great space right now. Remember that knowledge is power, and the woman who navigates postmenopause with the most vitality are the women who have the right information. And that is exactly what this series is here to do. Now, I want you to grab the free resource in the description box below called the Menopause Health Starter Kit. It's a 3-part resource that contains a menopause health audit and 2 questionnaire checklists for you to ask your doctor during your next HRT and/or GLP-1 appointment. Now, the third area is one I 1,000% believe in, support, and endorse, and that's hormone replacement therapy in postmenopause. My preference is actually bioidentical hormone replacement therapy because the formulations better mimic our body's hormones versus the synthetic formulations that many doctors prescribe. There's a difference, and you'd want to be aware of that. So you may be asking, in postmenopause, is it too late? Is it safe? Or is it even an option? And let me give you my honest answer based on my 20 years of personal menopausal experience. Yes. Hormone replacement therapy, which we'll cover in depth in video 6 of the series, is not just a tool for women in the middle of the transition. For many postmenopausal women, HRT remains a relevant evidence-based option, particularly for symptom relief and long-term health protection. The current evidence supports what is called the critical window hypothesis, and it's the idea that initiating HRT within the first 10 years of menopause or before the age of 60 provides the most significant benefits for cardiovascular and cognitive protection. But beyond that window, the conversation does not close. It just becomes more individualized. Now, what this means for you is if you are postmenopausal and have never had the HRT conversation with your doctor, or if that conversation was shut down years ago, it's worth reopening. Even low doses of estrogen, for example, which addresses a lot of symptoms, is considered low risk at virtually any stage of postmenopause. This is not a conversation I can have for you, but I can help you know the right questions to ask. Now, the fourth area is metabolic health. And if you are postmenopausal, this becomes the central pillar of your long-term well-being. And we will cover this in significant depth across the series, particularly in videos 3, 4, and 5. But here's what I want you to understand at a more in-depth level. Postmenopause creates a metabolic environment that is fundamentally different from what your bodies manage during your reproductive years. The combination of low estrogen, declining muscle mass, shifting fat distribution, and increasing insulin resistance creates conditions that, when left unaddressed, compounds over time. But these conditions are not final verdicts. They are addressable with proper treatment. These conditions can all be improved and, for some, even reversed. The woman who takes an active approach to their metabolic health in postmenopause through nutrition, movement, exercise, sleep, stress management, and where appropriate medical support experience dramatically different outcomes than women who don't. And with the use of GLP-1s, women in postmenopause have a real viable medical tool for help managing metabolic dysfunction, not as a quick fix, but as another great option in a comprehensive approach to metabolic health. And this brings me to the fifth area, and the one I most want you to remember after this video. Postmenopause is not the aftermath of menopause. It is not the consolation prize. It's simply a new hormonal chapter. And like any other chapter of life, it has its challenges, but it also has great possibilities. The women I know who thrive in postmenopause share one thing in common. They decided to be active participants in their own health, not passive recipients of whatever their bodies handed them. They asked questions, they advocated for themselves, and they made informed choices. They weren't willing to settle for, "you're just getting old." They resolved to be active, informed participants in their health through menopause and beyond, and now you can too. So let me summarize this. If you are postmenopausal, there are a few things I want you to know. 1, your symptoms are real and you have a biological explanation rooted in your permanent estrogen deficiency. 2, your long-term health risks, cardiovascular, bone, metabolic, cognitive, are real and they are manageable with the right approach. 3, HRT may still be a relevant option for you. That conversation is worth having or reopening with your doctor. And if your current doctor refuses to or is unable to have an informed conversation with you, find a new doctor. One who specializes in HRT for menopausal women is my recommendation. 4, your metabolic health is now a lifelong priority, and the strategies to support it are within your reach. And finally, 5, postmenopause is not your ending. It's just a new chapter. Now, in the next video in the series, we're going to talk about something that affects a significant number of women in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And that's the connection between the menopause transition and our metabolic health, especially that stubborn belly fat that seems to appear out of nowhere and will not move no matter what we do. So don't miss that one. Well, that's all for part 2. Please remember to do just a few things for me. Don't forget to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to grab your free resource below, and don't forget to share this video with a woman in menopause. Until next time, I'm Cathy Bracken, and I'll see you in the next video. Make today amazing and be well.